Good morning and welcome back to Denise Diaries. I am headed out to work. And what is on my mind this morning? This morning, I'm thinking about relationships and forgiveness. And what happens when a relationship, it's like I have to choose my words wisely. Sometimes what's in my head is hard to, in my head and my heart, is hard to kind of articulate into words, because I think in terms of analogies a lot of times. But you know how they say forgive, and I really and truly believe that you can forgive, but that doesn't necessarily change the situation. Like, how can I say this? It changes. It can change. Let's see. Let me just say this in terms of an analogy. Let's say you have a vase. Nah, not a vase, because a vase is too fragile. Let's say you have something that you drop and it breaks. But it doesn't break into little bitty pieces. It breaks into big pieces. So you could glue it back and use it. But even though you can glue it back, or you can repair it to use it, it will never go back to its original state. And that's what I'm trying to say about relationships. If something happens and a relationship is broken, and I tend to feel like this more so happens with probably people that are close, really close to you. When you are mishandled, it can be unintentional, but when you are mishandled time and time again, the person that you started out to be with that person will definitely not be the person that you end up with that person, if that makes sense. If someone is constantly mishandling you, mishandling could mean talking to you the wrong way, clearly treating you unfair. And a lot of times when someone is mistreating you, it has really little to do with you. It has everything to do with them and their mess, what they got going on. But even in knowing that, sometimes that doesn't change, because people will forget what you say. People will forget what you do. People will not forget how you make them feel. So once you're broken by someone, you can forgive them if they ask for forgiveness. But I just don't believe you ever return back to your original state that you started out to be. I just don't. Like, if you have that parent that most of your life, they just abandon you, just straight up abandon you. Yeah, they had their reasons, but at the end of the day, you were still abandoned. So although they've asked for forgiveness and you've forgiven them, nine times out of 10, you probably don't have that same. It's like there's a certain innocence that comes with a child and a parent. Even with being grown, you don't have to be a kid. There's still a certain like humbleness or innocence, or that comes with your relationship with your parents a lot of times. But then if you're abandoned, you got to go into fight or flight mode. So then you turn into you just inevitably you turn into somebody different. Or you're the same person, it's just that different characteristics about you have to kick in that should have otherwise maybe been still like laying dormant. And so because that happened, even though later on you understand, because now you're adult, you understand how life can be. If you're trying to figure out why you still just have that distrust, it's like, I forgive you, but in the back of your mind, you like, I don't trust you though. Like, I'm not gonna give you too much. That's a very real thing. I'm not gonna give you too much, because being abandoned by someone that's so important in your life, that's a hard pill to swallow. And then you gotta swallow it. Like, so I was thinking about that this morning. I was also thinking about, because I was praying and I'm like, God, please help me to allow you to be a Lord over my life, because I realize that I'm lording over my own life, which is why it is the way it is. I realize that I let God be God when I am literally in a state of I've tried, but I can't. As opposed to God being my source at all times. And I'm like, well, Denise, where did that come from? Where did that come from? And I'm like, well, perhaps it came from my dad abandoning me in death. My dad was my caregiver. Like, he was my provider. He was my protector. Like, he was my guy. And then all of a sudden, he was gone. Like, my entire life changed when my dad died. Like, no one has ever loved me like my dad. And my dad died when I believe I was 10. And I'm 51. So it's been quite a challenge. And then you don't know what you don't know. So you don't even realize that's what's affecting you. And now I'm like, oh man, that's probably why I'm having such a hard time. Because when I'm able to do what I can do, I really try hard to do, like, I try real hard to just be independent, where I don't have to ask nobody for nothing. I don't have to, like, I could be the provider. I could be the giver. I can be a helper. I don't like being the helpee. And that's good. But He has shown me how your method can be right and your motive could be wrong. So it may look like you doing the right things, but your motive could be fear. If your motive is fear, it's wrong. You wonder why you're doing this and doing that, and you're not getting the results that you think you should be getting, because yeah, your method is right, but your motive is wrong. I was like, okay, God. Okay. So then you have to figure out, okay, so where is the fear coming from? So those are the kind of things that I'm thinking about this morning. I'm looking at the time, it's 11. Some things that's going through my mind this morning. And I'm really praying that God would just help me, because there's a relationship in my life where I feel like our relationship was broken. Like broken. And when and it's like, I'm the type, I will not just count it broken. Well, certain things. Now, it depends on who you are. Certain people, I'm just not even finna. I'm just not. Because it's just, it takes too much time, and I could be wrong, but this is me. It's too much time and too much effort and too much energy. If it ain't gonna work, it ain't gonna work. Like, keep it pushing. Like, people come into your life for a reason and a season. If I'm not completely tied to you like that, you can go. Like, you can go. I am not finna lose sleep over that. Now, if I'm wrong about something, I will apologize and all of that, but I'm not. Now, if I'm tied to you, that's a different story. So that's what I'm talking about. If I'm tied to you and you've broken me, and I have spoken to you on several occasions, I've cried my eyes out on several occasions, and you just consistently behave a certain way, and once the switch flipped, the switch will at some point flip. So when the switch flipped, my relationship changed with you. You might not have saw the switch flip. You will eventually see the switch flipped. But the thing is once my switch flipped, and then down the line, you realize your error, and you want to now, what do you call it? Reconcile, I guess. I accept your offer to reconcile. But the problem is, I'm not the person I was before the break. And she gone. Like, she gone. She gone. She gone. Now you kind of feeling some type of way, because you can see the difference. Like, they see the difference. You can't be mad. Like, you can't be mad. It's a lesson. Like, it's a lesson. Be careful how you treat people. And it's not that I'm trying to punish them. It's not that. That's not my intention. It's not that. It's just what I said. At some point, the switch flipped. It's like at some point your body goes into survival mode because your body knows it needs to protect itself. So once your body starts fighting for you, it's protecting you. So once that I don't even want to say a block. I don't even think it's a block. I think it's a awareness. Once the awareness is there, it's like you can't back out of that. You can't back. That's just like if a parent abandoned their kids because they smoking crack or whatever. They prostituting, sleeping around. Your kids might at some point, you ask for their forgiveness, they will at some point, or they might at some point, I don't know who it is, it's just being everybody different. They forgive you, but you can't be mad that they're not that innocent. Oh, mommy, you can't be mad. You can't be mad that they're independent now. They act like they don't need you. They don't need you. They done figured out how to do life without you. They done figured it out. So you cannot be mad. That's what happens. That relationship, I don't feel like it's a wall. I feel like at some point you learn how to do what you need to do for yourself. And whatever that person was there for, you fill the void. You filled that void, and now they're trying to step into the void, and it's like I'm not void no more. I done figured out how to do this without you. Now you can still be in my life, but I don't need you. Some people feel this type of way because you no longer need them. Now you feeling some type of way. No, when it was your place to be there and do a certain thing, you wasn't. You was being selfish, is what it really was. Like, you was being selfish. You was thinking about self. Because if you was thinking about them, you probably would have made a different choice. But you didn't. You chose what you felt was what you wanted to do at the time. That's what you wanted to do at the time. So you got to respect that. Just put some respect on it. Because it takes a whole lot. Like, we had to work through a broke heart. Pick up all the pieces when you were doing you. You were doing you while we was picking up pieces, trying to put our life back together without you. So many days of heartache and pain and crying and frustrated, confused. We had to work through all of that before we could put the pieces together. Once we worked through all of that gut-wrenching emotional turmoil, and then figured out how to make it work without you. Now we're in the groove of making it work without you. Now here you come. Wanting your spot back. Don't try to get your spot back. Like they say, get in where you fit in and be okay with that. Just get in where you fit in. Sometimes it's a dad. He done been in jail for 20 years. Or even 5. Don't come home trying to regulate your house. Get in where you fit in. Because the main thing is to establish a trust, to establish a relationship, to become friends. We don't want to be friends no more. How about we just get to know each other? How about that? Parents be so quick to be telling me, I ain't your friend. I'm your mama, I ain't your friend. Why not? Why not? Why you can't be friends with your family, your kids, your spouse? Why not? Why do we have such a chip on our shoulder when it comes to our family? Why? Especially our kids and our husbands and our wives. Why? Be quick to be telling me, I ain't your friend. All a friend is a person who you enjoy time with, that knows you and that wants to be in a relationship with you, not they have to be in a relationship with you. That's all a friend is. So why are you so, people wear that as a badge of honor? I ain't your friend. You should be. And then you wonder why you the outcast in their life. Because you ain't their friend. We want to boss people around, control people. Like, how about we just get to know people? How about I just get to know you, find out what motivates you, and leverage that. That way we all happy. And we take turns filling in and helping one another. That's how that happens effortlessly. Because people don't remember what you say. They don't really remember what you do. But people remember how you make them feel. And when you make them feel good, people want to be around you. Be the meanest people be mad because you didn't get invited. Or because I don't, you don't ever want to spend time with me. Well, why you twisting your neck talking about how somebody don't ever want to spend time with you? Did you stop to ask yourself why? Did you say, I wonder why so-and-so don't want to spend time with me? Think about your attitude. Think about how you make them feel. Some people be so self-centered. Like, all you can see is how you feel, how you do this, how you. It's all about you. Well, I did this and I did that and I did that. Well, if you gotta keep track of everything that you did, because it's not the method, it's the motive. Like, if you doing stuff with an attitude, it's just like when it was Cain and Abel that brought the offering to God. One he honored and the other one he really didn't. Like, don't come at me like that. Don't just like throw some money at me, or don't give me something with an attitude, or don't give me something because you feel like you want accolades. Like you giving because you want accolades. You want to be appreciated. You want somebody to talk about you. No, genuinely give from your heart. If you cannot genuinely give from your heart, don't do it. I hear people say, well, why should I do that? They don't do such and such for me. I'm like, why are you keeping score? If God laid on your heart to do something, just do it. Don't be talking about, well, I don't see why I should give them $100 because it look like they don't need no money. That is not your business. And maybe that's your problem. It's all about you. See, you thinking about, listen. Let me just share a story that checked me in my tracks. I need to start back, but I haven't. I have been in a selfish mode lately. Let's just go there, okay? But anyway, I used to, at the suggestion of my pastor, keep random acts of kindness money in my wallet. So this one particular day, I had $20 for my random act of kindness. So it's like whenever you feel led, you just give it. So me and my daughter is out. We go to the store. We get ready to go in the store. It's the drunk guy out front, talking about, hey, y'all, you got 50 cents, talking crazy to people. Like, and I'm just like, I'm really not in the mood right now. I'm not in the mood this morning. Or it wasn't in the morning. I just, in my mind, I was just like, I'm really not in the mood for this. And I'm thinking to myself, I hope he don't say nothing to me, because I'm not in the mood. So me and my baby, we walking up to the store, and he's standing right outside. So he looks at me and he says, hey sis. I was like, okay. So he just like literally greeted me just like a regular greeting. Hey sis, how you doing? I was like, oh, okay. All right, how you doing? I'm not going to even like I'm not even going to smile, because I don't even want to give you no indication that I'm finna give you 50 cents. Like, I'm like, that's where my mindset is. So we go in the store. We come out the store. And he didn't ask me for 50 cents. He didn't ask me for anything. So as I'm walking to the car, God said, give him that random act of kindness money. And I was like you could smell that he had been drinking beer. Like, because when you reeking liquor, you've been drinking too much. So anyway, this was going through my head. And God was like, give him the $20. And I'm like, I'm not going to give him $20. I'm not. I was like, give him the $20. And I'm thinking, and I'm struggling to do the $20, right? So finally, because you don't go back and forth with God too often, but sometimes you be like, is that my conscience, or is it really God telling me to do this? So I'm still walking to the car. So I get in the car, get ready to put my seatbelt on, get ready to go. God was like, I told you, give him the money. I'm like, oh, okay. So I get in the car, and I didn't want to like get back out the car and go walk over there with my child. So I was like, okay. Got in the car, drove closer to him. Got out the car, left my daughter in the car. Got out the car. I had the money like folded up real small. Walked over to him, and I was like, here you go. He looked at the money and proceeded to weep. He proceeded to weep. And I was like, I could tell it wasn't a cry. I can tell it wasn't about the money. And then he just proceeded to start just like spilling his guts. And he was just like, basically like, God answered his prayers. God is real. He wanted to commit suicide. He's a disabled veteran. Like, it's just like he had a whole entire story. I was just like, and it wasn't the drunk guy talking. It was like his heart was talking. When I tell you, God taught me a very valuable lesson that day. I was like, so that right there showed me. And I thought I wasn't judgmental, but I was straight like, I ain't giving him. It is not about the money. It's not about the money. It's not. What that did for that guy that day is show him that somebody saw him, somebody valued him, God heard him. Like, listen, when you praying and you at your wits end, you are literally at your wits end. You feel like everybody has completely failed you. You have put your life on the line and you have been overlooked, failed, misused. Like, and that's why he was saying he was talking crazy. Like, I thought he was drunk man being crazy. He acknowledged that he was like, that's why I be talking crazy, because I served my country, and the thanks that I get, like, I am disabled. He couldn't see out one eye. Like, he was all messed up. He was all messed up. And he was just like, this is the thanks that I get. People look at me like I'm nobody. He was like, but God is real. God, she has shown. So fast forward, interestingly enough, it had to be like maybe a year or two later. I'm coming out of Walmart. The guy said, hey sis, go over there and buy me some, go over there and give me something to eat. And I was like, well, in my mind, I was like, well, that was bold. And he said that like he knew me. And I was like, okay. I was like, let me take my groceries to my car and I'll go get you some food. He was like, you ain't gonna take your groceries to your car and go get me the food. You gonna get in your car and you gonna leave. I said, listen, if I told you I'm gonna put my stuff in my car and come buy your food, that's what I'm gonna do. I don't know about nobody else, but if I told you something, I'm gonna do it. So he was like, okay. He was like, oh, boy, you got it. So we went back and forth a little bit, but I was like, look, okay. So I went, put my stuff in my car, walked over to buy his food, and in my mind I was thinking, God, he looked familiar. Went over and bought his food. Is that Charles? So we was talking while we was waiting on his food. And he started to tell me his story. Like, he didn't say he remembered me, but he started to tell me his story. And interestingly enough, he had a sister who passed away, and his sister name was Denise. So he proceeded to tell me all about his sister passed away. Her name was, like, he was telling me his whole story. And I was like, this is the same guy. But the cool part about it was he had a girlfriend, and his girlfriend was like helping him, like, go to the doctor. He was getting ready to get a place and da-da-da-da-da. So full circle, I was like, I never even told him, remember, da-da-da-da-da-da. But it was almost as if, like, it was like a kindred spirit. Like, he just felt comfortable, like, sis, go over there and buy me some food. Like, right? But it was funny because as we was waiting on his food, we was just talking. And he was just explaining a lot of stuff to me. And I was just like, because I remember the first time I was totally annoyed. I sat there for like 20, 30 minutes though that day that, like, he was crying and all of that. And he was like telling me a lot of his story, and I was just listening. And then this time he did the same thing. And I'm just like, how many people are out here homeless? Or you may not even be homeless, but just need somebody just to listen to you and treat you like you a real person. Like, I was just like, God, thank you. Because normally I am super busy. And I don't have time. And I can remember that day feeling like, God, I thank you that this particular moment, I had the 20, 30 minutes to spare. I didn't have my husband calling my phone. I wasn't like trying to like hurry up and get somewhere. I was like, God, thank you. Thank you, Lord. Ugh. I'm at work, so I'm at the end this diary. But listen, I hope something was said that will help you to go further in life. But please don't judge. If it's in your unction to do something, don't second guess by saying, oh, they don't need it, or I need it more, or that. Don't, because you just don't know. You do not know. That thing will come full circle on you, and you be like, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm for real gonna go. I remember God told me to go apologize to somebody who did me so wrong that I was like, I listen, this don't make no kind of sense to me. But I felt strongly that God was saying, go apologize to them. Turns out that apology was tied to a whole blessing on the other side. It was basically like, it was like my code. It was like I was typing in the code. Like that was the code to open up the opportunity to get to the other side. So if you feel a strong unction to do something, don't second guess it, because you don't know what's on the other side. With that, I'm going to leave y'all with that. Y'all have a wonderful day. It was nice sharing this morning. Take care. I'll see y'all next time. Bye.